What is good, people? It's Revival of Wisdom. Today we're going to be talking about Saturn. I've done this video in the past. However, this video is going to contain a lot more in-depth explanation of Saturn. So the 33rd degree Mason, Manly P. Hall, said, Saturn is the key to crystallization, physical matter. Light is matter, matter is light. They are interchangeable. Low vibrating light turns into matter, high vibrating matter turns into light. And Saturn is the god of this world, this physical world. He crystallizes light into matter. This is symbolized as the Masonic checkered board, matter and spirit, matter and light, light and matter. He's also the god of time, destruction, justice. He creates and destroys, because all things in time die. He creates and destroys you. So, because we live in this physical world, which is the electric world, this is why we say electricity, because it comes from the root word of El, Saturn. They used to call Saturn El, E-L. This is why we used to say Elohim is God. The real God of this world is Saturn, but it's being hid. This is being hid. Jesus is Saturn. All of this is Saturn. It's all Saturn worship. It's the real God of this world, So, physical matter is a result of two opposing forces equalized on the plane of inertia, because everything is created out of electromagnetic toroidal fields. And these two poles equalize on the plane of inertia, which gives you planet Earth, plane of inertia. The plane of inertia is what Saturn is. It's the ring around the center of the plane of inertia. Thank you to Walter Russell saying, physical matter is a result of two opposing forces on the plane of inertia. This is what Walter Russell says, so please check out his work. He's got many books, many books on light and electromagnetism and stuff like that. So I advise you to check him out. So the torus field gives you the binary code 0 and 1, the female vagina and the male phallus. This is the code for this world. Saturn crystallizes physical matter. Now Saturn is the most outermost layer of the 7 layers of heaven, where it says in the Quran, it says, Allah, it is he who created the 7 layers of heaven. Saturn is the outermost layer. He's the top. He's the most high. So when we say the most high, we're referring to Saturn. He's the most high before the firmament, before the stars. So Saturn is the god of this world. He's the Lord of the Rings. He wears the crown. The crown is the rings. Crown, Chronos. So the planets are luminaries. They are lights. They are beings. They are energy, conscious energy. And we're in the heart of the solar system. Saturn is the outermost layer. He is the one of this world. He's the god of this world. Now, on the North Pole of Saturn, you have the hexagon. Add up all the sides. It creates the 6-pointed star. Or it can be created as a cube. The cube is very important. The 6-pointed star is very important. 6 points, 6 triangles, 6 side, 6, 6, 6. Black cube adds up to 6 in gematria. Now, what did I say in the beginning? Saturn crystallizes the physical world. He creates physical things out of light. You are a light being. This is why we say human. Hue means the light spectrum. Hue, man, we are light manifested into physical forms. Human. And we are incarnated through Saturn. Satan, same thing. The number of the beast is 666, and the 666 comes from the 6.6 triangles, 6 sides of Saturn, 666. We are all known as carbon-based life forms. Carbon, the atomic structure of carbon, is 666, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. We are materialized into our physical bodies through Saturn, through the number of the beast. These bodies are the beast, it's the animal. The divine, the Christ, is the consciousness within, because you're a physical, spiritual being combined into one, hexed into one. Hexagram. This is a hexagram. You're hexed into physical matter, spirit and matter, light and dark, combined into one. Now you contain of the mark of the beast, the mark of your body. Your body's the beast. It says in the Bible, Satan, who is the god of this world. This world. There are many different worlds, but this world is run by Saturn, and it says that in the Bible. Saturn is Satan. It's the same thing. And look at the crown of thorns are wrapped around the heart. The soul is in the heart. The mind is in the brain. The soul is wrapped around the rings of Saturn. You're wrapped in physical matter. This is what it's showing you. This is symbolizing the rings of Saturn wrapping you. And the cross on top is the cross of the cube. The cube, the black cube of Saturn, unfolds into a cross. So Satan, who is the god of this world, Corinthians 4:4 in the Bible, Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. Satan blinds your mind, because the god of this world materializes you, and he blinds your mind when you incarnate into physical matter. When you enter this soul system, not the solar system, you hit Saturn first. He materializes you. And look at the symbol for Saturn. This is the symbol for Saturn. All of the planet symbols are created out of the Holy Trinity. The Earth, Moon, and Sun. Body, mind, and soul. The sun is your soul, the moon is your mind, the earth is your body. Your body's made out of the 5 elements. The sun is your soul, because the sun is life force. Gives life to everything. Your sun is a soul. Your soul is the sun of your body. The moon is the mind. The moon is the moon of your body, the mind of your body. Intelligence. So all of the symbols of the planets are created out of these. The Saturn symbol is created out of the Earth cross, matter, and the moon crescent, moon, mind, matter over mind. This is why Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. He blinds your mind. Look at the symbol, it's showing you. The Saturn symbol is matter over mind, when it should be mind over matter. So we descend into a soul system, into our 666 Saturn carbon suit bodies, and we are matter over mind. Then we have to move up the spine to go back up to spirit, to mind over matter, where you manipulate your own reality. Now look at this. It creates the number 5. 5 is the number of change. You're moving from this side of the number sequence over to the right side. You're moving from the spiritual into the physical world. You're incarnating into the 5 elements, the 5 senses. So the cube, the black cube of Saturn, is another major symbol. Very important symbol. Here you see the cube, and the color black is associated with Saturn, because Saturn is associated with death. He creates and destroys. Light and dark. Death is associated with black, spirit, because you can't see spirit, which is blackness. So the black cube is black because Saturn rules the nighttime, which is dark, blackness, and he rules the winter, which is death, blackness. So Saturn is the black cube. Cubes have 6 sides: up, down, right, left, back, and forward. Cubes are 6-sided. Everything is 6-sided inside of this creation, because you're incarnating, you're materializing, crystallizing into the cube, the world of the cube. Everything's a cube. Everything's got 6 sides. Here's Leonardo da Vinci showing you that you're in the cube. Leonardo da Vinci did this famous painting. You're in the cube. You're hexed into physical matter. We're incarnated into the third dimension, the three-dimensional world, which is a cube, 3D. And black cube adds up to six sides of the black cube. The Kabbalah means cube god in Arabic. And look at what they do. They worship the cube, the black cube, and they stand in rings like the rings of Saturn. Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, Santana all have these black cubes. You go to New York, you will see the black cube there as well. These black cubes are everywhere because it is the real God of this world, So look at the cross. The cross unfolds into the cube. Xbox, Nintendo GameCube, Sega Saturn, anything to do with a simulated gaming reality, they put Saturn in it because we're in the simulation of Saturn. This is a simulation. And this is why they reflect this through the Xbox, GameCube, Sega Saturn, anything to do with gaming, simulations, is all Saturn. Because we're in the cube of Saturn, the black cube. We're in the GameCube, the Xbox, the Sega Saturn. As above, so below. So they reflect it through the simulations that they create inside of this simulation. Cubes have 8 points for the 8 points of time and space. 8 is the number of time. Everything's cycling, infinity. So look at the cube. The cube is symbolized as in Judaism. The Judees have the black cube. They wrap themselves in a black band and they cover their eyes into blackness. The black cube, for the black cube of Saturn, they use the star of Saturn and they worship their god on Saturn Day because it's all Saturn worship. And look how the Saturn god is wrapped around with these thorns or leaves, just like Jesus is wrapped around his heart. And Jesus on the cross is us on the cross. We are in the cross. We are in the cube. The cross is the cube. And the cross is even in the Saturn symbol. This is another symbol for Saturn. There's two symbols. You got this one, the one I've just broke down. And there's this one. This is the cross of Saturn, the cube god, the simulation, the game cube. Now, Chronos is another word for Saturn. Chronos means time. When you clock into work, you go to the Chronos machine. Well, I did anyway. And I tap my card on the Chronos because Chronos is time. Anything to do with time is Saturn. He creates and destroys. Look at the artwork of Saturn with the sand, the time. Look at this, how he's cutting off the baby's wings. He's crystallizing the spirit into matter. He's cutting off your wings. Satan, in the Bible, he falls from heaven into earth and he loses his wings. He becomes a serpent. You see, it's all symbolic for us. We are the fallen angels, fallen angles of light. We're fallen angles of light. We are light beings. Now we're fallen into physical matter. Saturn's chopped off our wings. He's chopped off our spirit wings because when you astral project, you can fly. You will fly around. He's got the Reaper staff here, always depicted with the Reaper staff. Now look at the clock. Saturn Day is the 6th day. The number of the beast, 666. Look at the clock. 6 take away 12. 12 take away 6 equals 6. 7 take away 1 equals 6. 8 take away 2 equals 6. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, 2 plus 4 equals 6. That's 666. Everything's 666 because it's time. Saturn. All goes to Saturn. He's the god of time. We're in time now. We're in time. We're in the time, which is God. The god of this world. The god of time. Now look at this. The Reaper is also depicted as the Reaper with the staff, the black cloak, black symbolizing death, spirit, Judges wear black because Saturn is the law. He's the god of this world. He's the law. This is why they wear black cloaks. When you graduate from university, you wear a black cloak and a black cube on your head. You've been hexed. Funerals, you wear black because it's all to do with Saturn, Father Time, Father Crystallization. Now, Saturn, here's another one of him cutting off the wings of a child. Because he cuts off the wings. He creates and destroys your body. We're in the electrical world. Everything that is electrical vibrates. All vibrations have to come back to a standstill point, which is death. This is why your body dies. Your atoms stop vibrating. Corona. Look at the crown. The crown is the corona. Corona means crown. And look at this is an alcohol brand for beer. You can see the staff of Saturn in the symbol with the moon crescent. Corona, which is the crown, Saturn, the crown on Saturn, the rings. And then you've got the staff. It's all Saturn worship. Is the black cubes of 9/11. 2 black cubes. This was a ritual for Saturn. It's all ritualistic. And look at the Star of David, the Star of Saturn. It's not the Star of David. Creates IXXI, the sigil of Saturn. IXXI means 9/11 in Roman numerals. 9/11. It's all a ritual for Saturn, and they have the 2 black cubes of Saturn. Now look, XX, there's more symbolism of Saturn now. We're going deeper. XX is more symbolism for Saturn. The sigil of Saturn is XX, as above, so below. Same with the Star of David. You split it in the middle, as above, so below, as above, so below. XX, this is a Knights Templar, Cross of Lorraine. XX, Knights Templar, High Order of Masonry. They all worship Saturn. Well, Saturn's the real god of this world. X Eon with the XX, XXL magazines, which is all to do with famous rappers and stuff like that. When you die, you put XX on the eyes because it's Saturn. He's the Reaper. Is Jesus with the XX crown with the thorns around his heart, around his soul, with the cube on the top, the cross cube. Le Lucifer with the XX Cross of Lorraine. Jay-Z with his alcohol brand, XX Cross of Lorraine. The X Factor with the rings of Saturn. All Saturn worship. The seal of Melchizedek is also Saturn. This is the cube. This symbolizes the cube with the 8 points for the 8 points of space and time. And this is the cube. It's another ancient symbol for Saturn. Here you see the star of Saturn with the Melchizedek symbol around it, which is all to do with Saturn. Here you see an altar, the Holy Grail, the Melchizedek symbol on it, and they're worshipping it. This is why we wear rings, wedding rings for the rings of Saturn. It all goes back to Saturn. Earrings. The 8-pointed star of the ancient Sumerians is all Saturn. It's all Saturn. So the ancients, the symbols of Saturn goes on forever. It's in all of the major corporations. You can see it everywhere, the rings of Saturn. Toyota is an obvious one. Internet, Nike, Target, Sega, Saturn. It's all Saturn worship. All Saturn worship. Because he is the real god of this world. Here's Kanye West's album with a Saturn here. Here's Michael Jackson's album saying escape. There's the X again. The X, escape. You have to escape this reality. Maybe that's what he's pointing at. Here you see it on the dollar bill, the star of Saturn. Here you see it again on the dollar bill. So that is it for today's people. I hope you all gain some insight on Saturn. Please like, comment, and share if you can. Subscribe if you like the channel. Please have an amazing day. God bless.
Welcome to Revival of Wisdom.
What is good, people? Is Revival of Wisdom. We're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of Saturn and the occult. Let's jump straight into this. So Saturn is the god of the earth, right? It's the time of God, change, destruction, physical matter. He creates and destroys, because the energy of Saturn is the key to crystallization. It wraps things in physical matter, right? He creates everything, all life forms, and he takes things back, because the day that you're born, that's the day that your expiry date is coming. The time is ticking until Saturn takes your life. This is why he's known as the Reaper. Okay? As he's personified as eating his child here in this ancient Roman painting. As you can see, he's eating the child. We are all children of Saturn, right? He creates physical matter, our physical bodies, right? He's the god of time because he's the slowest moving celestial body. He's the Lord of the Rings, as you can see here. He's the last one on the ring. He's the slowest one moving, okay? So he is the Lord of time, destruction and creation, okay? This is why his name is Saturn, Satan. He's the devil, okay? But I'm not saying Saturn's evil, guys. It's a part of life. Everything lives and dies, right? He's the key to crystallization. Now, as we have the clock here, our god Saturn, or Chronos in Greek, just means time. He's also the god of time, as I've already said. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. Add 2 plus 4 equals 6. 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 2 plus 4 equals 6. That's 666. Okay? And as you see on the clock, 6 take away 12 equals 6. 7 take away 1 equals 6. 9 take away 3 equals 6. 6 is the number of Saturn. It's associated with Saturn, right? He's the god of time, of justice. Everything goes back to the Reaper in the end. Everything lives and dies. Now, the artwork of him, he's always got the Reaper staff. You see, it's personifying death. Now, when you see this, the Romans were not saying Saturn was a real person, a real god in human form. No, this is personification. This is what the ancients always did. They personified, just like the Bible. It's all personification. So the personifying Saturn eating its children because it eats, it's the Reaper. No one can escape the Reaper. No one can escape death. Now, Saturn is 666, which is in the Bible, the number of the beast, right? The number of the beast, Satan, 666, right? So on the North Pole of Saturn, you have a hexagon, which makes a cube, right? Now this hexagon, when you join up all the corners, creates the 6-pointed star known as the Star of David, right? In the Jewish religion. Now, as you can see, the 6-pointed star has 6 points, 6 mini triangles, and a 6-sided hexagon. That makes 666. And also, Saturday is named after Saturn, the sixth planet, the sixth day of the week, and has a six-sided polygon in its north pole. That's also 666. Now, this Star of David, this symbol goes back thousands of years, and it originates from Saturn. It's not the Star of David, right? It originates from Saturn. It symbolizes the physical and spiritual aspect combined into one, which makes us humans, right? Also symbolizes the male and female combined into one. These two sacred energies create the human. We consist of both male and female energy, also known as the Seal of Solomon. And we all know if Solomon was a real person, he talks about communicating with 72 demons. He could apparently, in the text, he could communicate with 72 demons, and this is sorcery. This is black magic. Now, this symbol is associated with hexing people. When you place a hex on someone, that is a form of witchcraft, which a hex is just a curse. When you're cursing someone, this is black magic. Now, the black magician would stand in the middle of the symbol and cast his spells onto other people. Now, this symbol is obviously on the $1 bill, twice on the $1 bill. And it's very, very ancient symbol. And it originates from Saturn. And let's keep going. So the cube. So I've just said how you see the cube on the North Pole of Saturn, right? The cube is limited. It's a 3D shape. It symbolizes limitations to the physical 3D dimension, the third dimension, the physical realm which we are in. Now, as you can see, the color associated with Saturn is black, right? Black is infinite potential. Black is the creation of all things before there was light. Light is born out of blackness, darkness, okay? Now, black is physical matter. And as you can see, the black cube, black symbolizing physical matter, the cube being limited, as the physical realm that we are in is limited. It's not like the fourth dimension where everything can exist in a thought. The third dimension is limited, right? And this is what Saturn is. It limits you to the 3D 666. Your body limits you to your physical body. Now, these black cubes are placed everywhere. As you can see, Australia, Denmark, Manhattan. There's one in New York. As you can see, the Apple have a cube. The Nintendo GameCube. Trump Tower is a black cube. This is worshipping the energy of Saturn, the god Saturn. Okay, it's not a god, it's a celestial energy. However, it rules over Earth because it pretty much created the physical realm. Now, as you see, when you go to a funeral, you wear black, a black suit symbolizing Saturn, which is the color associated, black. And as you see in Mecca, they walk around the black cube in rings. As you can see here, they're stood around in rings, like the Saturn, the rings of Saturn. The Mercedes symbol. You probably wouldn't notice that, but yes, it's Saturn. And when you graduate from university, you wear a black cube on your head. This is all symbolizing Saturn. Okay. Now, as you can see, the Jews here have a black cube on their third eye whilst they pray. Notice how he's shutting his eyes into blackness, darkness, and he's wrapped around a black strap around his arm. This is symbolizing the wrapping of physical matter, of how physical matter wraps things into existence. And as we all know, the Star of David is a Jewish symbol. So he has the black cube and the Star of David, right? So all of these religions are secretly worshipping Saturn. Okay, this is all Saturn worship, Kronos, the god of time and destruction, the physical reality. Now, as you can see, it's symbolized everywhere in all major corporations. Pepsi, internet, that's obvious. NASA, of course, NASA. NASA means to deceive in Hebrew. Universal, Walkers, that one's so obvious. Nike, Toyota. So many different ways they symbolize it. You either see the rings of Saturn or the black cube, as I just showed you here, the Nintendo and the Mercedes, right? It's absolutely everywhere. Now, they also use 666 to symbolize it, as I've just broken it down to you. 666, the World Economic Forum. We all know how they're trying to enslave us into this new world agenda. Google Chrome, CERN, Disney, Coca-Cola, Cadbury's, all of these have 666. Now, every UPS barcode has 666. And even www. Is Hebrew for 666, as you can see here. Monster. It's the same Hebrew letter that means 666. Drake, 6 God. That's his god, Saturn. Why? Because they love physical realm. They love the physical dimension, the third dimension. Because they can rule here through riches. They can build an empire here. It's not like the fourth dimension. They don't want to ascend. They want to stay down here in the physical realm. Okay? Now, this is why they're cloning. They can move their consciousness into other clones to live forever. This technology exists. This is why they love the third dimension. As you can see, all of these sellouts here, Drake, Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, all of these people doing 666 because this is their God. This is their God. They love the physical realm. They sold their souls for wealth and fame in this physical realm. So why would they leave? You see? Now, this isn't all just evil, okay? So you have 7 chakras, right? You have 7 days of the week, 7 solfeggio scale notes. These are frequencies, the solfeggio scale. Now, it's called the Saturn moon matrix because the moon symbolizes your mind, because you're created out of the Holy Trinity, which is body, mind, and spirit, right? That's the triangle, the equal triangle, body, mind, and spirit. Now, the 3 main celestial bodies are Earth, Moon, and Sun. The Earth being your physical body, the Moon being your mind, and the Sun is your soul, hence why it's called solar. It's a solar soul. Now, these symbols are alchemical symbols. So when you're doing alchemy, you use these symbols to obviously symbolize what we're talking about. Now, as you can see, these are all the symbols of the planets. Of Saturn is created out of the moon on top, the moon on the bottom and the earth on top, as you can see here. You see? And this creates the number 5. Now, with the moon being your mind and the earth being your physical body, this is mind over matter, because the earth is your body's matter. This is matter over mind. You don't want to be matter over mind. This is low states of consciousness. You won't be mind over matter. You see, to manipulate matter, to create your own reality. Now, obviously, we all know Saturn is associated with the lowest chakra, which is the root chakra. This is to deal with your animal instincts. When you're down here, You identify as the physical body. You don't know anything spiritual. You're pure a physical, you have a pure physical mind. You don't believe in anything spiritual. This is survival mode, consumption. They want you trapped down here, which is matter over mind. They don't want you to create your own reality, which is mind over matter. You see? Now, that's what Jupiter is. Saturn is the moon on the bottom and the earth on top. But Jupiter is the moon on top with the earth on the bottom. That's mind over matter, you see? So, these chakras are an ascension process from spiritual, from matter, physical matter to spiritual. This is the ascension. This is the stairway to heaven. This is Jacob's ladder. You see? Now, the number 5, which is obviously associated with Saturn as well, which create the symbol for Saturn, created the number 5. You have 5 senses, 5 elements, 5 physical elements. As we all know, Saturn crystallizes everything into physical matter out of the 4 elements. 5 fingers and toes, 5 points of man. Okay, the number 5 is the number of justice. Saturn holds things back. He restrains things from you, makes you learn the lesson. Now, 666 is not all evil. 666 is the atomic structure of the carbon atom. 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, right? We are carbon-based life forms. All life forms are based on the bonding properties of the element carbon. Because Saturn crystallizes everything into physical matter. Now, the Masons symbolize this with the checkered boards. They have the black square, which is obviously matter, as I just said, the black cube. And spirit is the white square, because white is eternal light. White and light, you see? Black is physical matter. Now, this is what we are. The point of our soul is to transmute from matter to spirit, but these are interchangeable. This is the constant cycle between spirit and matter, spirit and matter. High vibrational matter turns into spirit. Low vibrational spirit turns into physical matter. You see? Now, we are carbon-based life forms. This is what 666 is, the number of the beast. When I say we, the physical body is the beast. It's the animal. It's the carbon suit to operate in this physical dimension, in this physical realm. See? It's the vehicle used to operate in this physical realm. But your mind isn't from this physical realm, you see? The brain is the physical manifestation of the soul. Okay? So, as you can see here, the spine is an extension of the brain. Everything goes back to the brain. This is literally what your physical body is. You see, this is the nervous system, and everything reports back to the brain, and everything's controlled from this control center. And this spinal column, at the top of the spinal column, is your third eye, which is known as the pineal gland. And this is the seat of consciousness. It's the center of consciousness. That is your true self, pure consciousness. This body is just a physical body. This body is mortal. This body runs out, but your consciousness lives forever. They don't want you knowing this. This is why they keep you down here in your lower chakra. They want you to believe everything is just physical. They don't want you to believe in the spiritual side of reality. Because this way they can manipulate you, right? They want you matter over mind because they know your mind creates reality. They know your mind is the root cause of reality. You manifest your own reality from the inside out. So this is why they control your perception of reality. They control your information in order to manifest their new world order. You, who are ignorant to knowledge and wisdom, you who are ignorant are manifesting their agenda because you accept their information and their perception of this reality. Now, this is why they tell you the globe model, the heliocentric model, to trap you into physical matter. Now, if you understood about this true form of this realm, you'd understand that there's a spiritual side behind everything. The spiritual side, something has to exist. The root cause of reality is higher planes of existence. It happens in the mind before it happens on the physical plane. You see? They don't want you knowing this. They want you matter over mind, which is the symbol for Saturn. Moon over Earth. The Holy Trinity. Now, as you can see, the cube also makes IXXI. This is Roman numerals. This is Roman numerals, and when it's translated from 9/11. Yes, 9/11. This is the secret code of the one world order. The two twin towers, when the two become one. Okay, when the two become one, this is how you reach the higher states of consciousness, the physical and spiritual. Now, as you can see, the 9/11 memorial are two black cubes. It's two black cubes. This is all Saturn worship. Now, I'm not saying that Saturn is an evil celestial body, right? No, everything has a good side and a bad side, right? It's duality. The spirits of Saturn on the dark side are the most evil demonic spirits. Now, these are the spirits that these are invoking through these rituals, right? Yes, 9/11 was a massive ritual. It's a satanic ritual, okay? Now, we all know Elon Musk. Elon Musk is coming with the mark of the beast. And English gematria, this equals 666, right? 666, as I said, is the number of the beast. You are the beast, your physical body. You see how the Bible twisted things up to make things more confusing, right? But it's there. You just have to have the knowledge to be able to read the Bible properly. As we all know, we had this virus. I'm not going to say the name because I'll get flagged. This virus adds up to 666 because this is all part of the New World Order. It's all part of keeping you in this physical dimension. Okay? Now, as you can see here, Novus Ordo Secularum on the back of his shirt, on Elon Musk's shirt, this is also on the $1 bill, Novus Ordo Secularum. This means New World Order. Yes, New World Order. This is on the back of Elon Musk's shirt. And as you can see here, he owns Neuralink, which is the brain chip, which they're going to be putting into implanting this onto your brain. This is the New World Order to connect you and merge your consciousness with AI. Neuralink and Meta, he owns Meta as well, which is the metaverse. These are going to be linked in, hence why they have the same symbol, but just in a different format. It's the infinity symbol. And the infinity symbol comes from the torus field, as you can see here, your electromagnetic field from around your body. Now, the end goal is for this New World Order is to trap your consciousness inside of an alternative reality being projected from the metaverse. Because the metaverse will be the reality. Neuralink will be the brain chip inside of your brain, projecting your consciousness into an alternative reality while they harness your energy of your physical 666 body. Now, this stuff gets real deep, people. Now, this is the end goal of the New World Order, is to connect you with AI. This is why they're trapping you and keeping you in these lower states of consciousness in a Saturn-associated root chakra, so you don't find out about the spiritual side of reality. Because if you knew the truth of this reality, you wouldn't connect to AI. You see, you have the power within you to travel to other worlds, the astral plane, for example. You travel to different worlds when you are sleeping. Okay? They want you to know it's just a dream. However, their end goal is to trap your consciousness and feed off your energy, spiritually and physically. Okay? I don't know why these people are just pure evil. As I said, evil love bondage. They love the physical dimension. They don't want to ascend to other realms. These evil love the third dimension. This is why evil spirits will inhabit bodies, exorcisms, because they miss being in the physical realm. They miss it. Evil love bondage. So this is why they're cloning and putting their consciousness in clones to stay in this third dimension, to stay as further away from the source as possible. Okay? This is why they're doing it. And this is how it's all linked in. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you gained some wisdom. Please feel free to join the Telegram. And please leave a like and a subscribe. Thank you all, people. God bless.
Welcome to Revival of Wisdom.
Today we're going to be breaking down Saturn worship and how the occult are linked in with Saturn. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the celebrities. All these celebrities are doing 666. Okay, covering the one eye, which also symbolizes the all-seeing eye, which is another occult symbol. But we're focusing on the 666, the 6 with the 3 fingers. Also, we have CERN with the 666 within their logo. Also Disney, okay, as you can see here, 666 within their logo. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and even Cadbury's. Monster Energy with the 666 in Hebrew numerals. Unleash the beast. So what is 666 to do with Saturn? Because on Saturn, there is on their north pole of Saturn, there is a 6-sided hexagon. Okay? So Saturday is named after Saturn Day, the 6th planet. It is also the 6th day of the week and has a 6-sided polygon on its north pole, 666. Not only that, when you create a star out of the hexagon, you will create a 6-pointed star. Okay? With 6 triangles within the star and a 6-sided hexagon, which all adds up to 666. Okay? So this is why all these symbols contain 666. So why do they worship 666? Saturn. Because Saturn is the god of time and death. Okay, and order and lessons. Okay, Saturn is a very cold and dry being. That is the 6th planet from the sun. Okay, Saturn represents the winter, which symbolizes death. Okay, because all nature dies within winter because the sun's not there. So it represents darkness and death.
who rules the zodiac sign of Capricorn. Okay, so in the celestial cycle, Saturn is always opposite the sun, so it's the opposite of the sun. So they're worshipping this energy which is death-like. Okay, this god which is death and does not bring life. Okay, also is the god of time. Okay, also in the Roman and in Greek it's called Chronos. Okay, which is just a translation for time. It's also known as the Father Time, aka the Grim Reaper. Okay, the Grim Reaper. Keep that in mind. We'll come back to this. Here are some more logos with Saturn. Okay, NAG, Internet, Wi-Fi. Okay, all these occult logos all worship Saturn. They are a satanic occult. They worship this death god, this evil god. Okay, this is where the cube now comes in. Okay, because what colour is associated with Saturn? Okay, black, because it's the absence of light. It's opposite the sun. So black is the colour associated with Saturn. Each planet has its own colour associated with it. Okay, so when you make the cube, okay, as you can see here, the cube out of the polygon, it creates what? A black cube. Okay, and the Kabbalah, okay, Kabbalah means cube, Allah means the god, the cube god. These religions are secretly worshipping this cube god, the god of death, Saturn, Satan. It's the same entity behind it all. Okay, so also we have these black cubes in Australia, Denmark, all around the world. These black cubes, because this occult is worldwide. Okay? Saturn, Satan taking over this realm. Okay. Also, with this black cube, they walk around it like the rings of Saturn. It's around the black cube of Saturn with the rings, they walk around in circles. What are circles? Cycles. What is a cycle? Time. The time god. This is why it has a ring around it, because it represents time, cycles. Okay? And this is another depiction. Saturn, always depicted with this Reaper staff. Okay, keep in mind this staff, just like we associated with aka the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper also wears a black robe, representing Saturn with the same staff. Can you see it? This is where it comes in. Okay, the same thing, look, the same staff. With the black robe, black representing Saturn, the god of death. Okay, the Grim Reaper, Satan. Okay. Also, when you graduate from university, what do? You wear a cube on your head, a black cube with a black robe. This is Saturn worship. See, this is how Saturn, Satan, has tricked the world into worshipping him, not God, the sun, which represents God. So what is a corona? Because a corona is a crown, a circle, okay? A set of concentric circles of light seen around a luminous body. So Saturn, so this is why they used to worship Saturn by wearing crowns in ancient days. And we still do to this day. The king or queen has a crown, a corona. Also, corona, the dream. Corona adds up to 666, just like Saturn is 666. But like you see in the corona, you see the staff. You see this staff, just like the staff of Saturn, the Saturn god, like the Grim Reaper, with the black robe and the staff, just like the Saturn god. What is the Grim Reaper? It's a killer, it represents death, just like Saturn, the god of death and time. So all these occults and secret societies all worship the 666 god, which is Saturn, Satan. All of our energy is being put into Saturn. Okay, and Saturn, Satan, is harnessing all of this energy. So gradually, this is what the mark of the beast is. Like it says in the Bible, the mark of the beast, or the name of the beast. Here is wisdom. Let him know that you have to understand and count the number of the beast, for it is 6. It is the number 6 of a man, and is 6. 600, 3 score is 6, 666. So this is what the mark of the beast is. They are going to eventually put brain chips, just like Neuralink, which is what Elon Musk is pushing. Okay, so this chip is the mark of the beast, and it's going to be implanted to our hands or brains. Okay, and they will manipulate our consciousness, and it will manipulate our DNA, and it will directly connect us to AI, and AI is linked in with Saturn, Satan, as the demons and the people who rule this world are in love with AI. They want to connect humans to AI, and this will control our consciousness completely and give all of our energy back to Saturn, Satan, this deity that they all worship. Just like when you get married, you wear a wedding ring, the rings of Saturn, over the finger, which represents the sun. So you're basically seeing Saturn over the sun. The sun is the son of God. It represents the sun, represents God. So you're putting Saturn over the sun. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I'm going to leave you guys here. Please leave a like, comment some topics that you want me to talk about. And please subscribe for more amazing content. God bless.
Left and right hemisphere, and what are they doing? How does it contribute towards your perception in this world? And this is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. We're going to be breaking down the two hemispheres of the brain and how they function in your life. So first, we have the left hemisphere. This is the logical hemisphere. This is the analytical, divided, scientific, or verbal hemisphere. The right hemisphere is creative, wholeness, artistic, symbolic, and metaphorical. The right hemisphere does with non-verbal things. It produces a holistic perception. It is more to do with creativity. Because what you must understand is that we are not in the external world. The world is produced by our brain. We see with our brain. Our eyes are a part of the brain. What we touch is the brain's interpretation of electrical signals on the nervous system. What we smell is the brain's interpretation of smell through the nose. What you taste is your brain's interpretation of chemical reactions on your taste buds. So what you are experiencing is the brain. The brain is a computer creating a simulation. And you have two hemispheres which breaks down this reality. So essentially the brain is the perception creator. It creates perception. So if the brain is creating this, who is the one experiencing the brain? Well, that is you, the consciousness, the mind, the all-seeing eye. You are the all-seeing eye experiencing the brain, the observer behind the brain, behind reality, behind the emotions. So if you're walking through a woods, this left brain sees individual trees. The right brain sees the whole woods. It sees the biome. It sees the bigger picture. So when you are walking through this woods, the right brain picks up a holistic perception of reality. It creates the woods as one unified woods. The left brain's job is to break this down and analyze it so that we can see individual things. And this is also necessary for humans to have the ability to break things down and manipulate things in this world. So without this left hemisphere, we could not manipulate things and break things down. So this right hemisphere is important because it sees the whole woods. It sees humanity as one unified consciousness. However, the left hemisphere sees individual egos. So the left hemisphere is the place of the ego because it only understands it sees the world very divided. Okay, so for example, here's another example of the left and right hemisphere. If someone pulls out in front of you in traffic, your left brain's going to start going crazy and analyzing them, calling them names. The right hemisphere, however, sees the bigger picture. Maybe he didn't see you. Maybe it's just a mistake. Maybe he's in a rush. You see how the two brains are very different. They do the same thing, but they function in different ways. The right hemisphere is feminine. The left hemisphere is masculine. So, like I said, this person pulls out in front of you. You start to think with the left. If you start to perceive that in the left brain, you're going to start analyzing them. You're going to start going crazy and calling them names because you're analyzing it. You're not seeing the bigger picture behind it. You're not seeing it from his perspective. So there is a crossover. So the left hemisphere of the brain controls the right side of the body, the right ear, the right eye. Everything to do with the right side of the body is connected to the left hemisphere, and the right hemisphere controls everything on the left side of the body, including your eyes, your arms, your legs. So everything is crossed over, and even your visual field is crossed over. So this is your visual field, as you can see here, and even the left side of your visual field goes to the right brain. There is a crossover. No one really knows. There's not really a reason for this. However, this is how the human body is designed. As we all know, the human body is the most advanced piece of technology on the face of the earth. They cannot replicate the human body. And they tell you it has no creator. This is crazy. People are that brainwashed, they can't even understand that their body is the most advanced piece of technology. Your body is so advanced, the computers that you use are mimicked of the body. Everything they create is mimicking nature, but they don't show you how intelligent nature is because they don't want you to understand you're in an intelligent design. So anyways, let's get back on track. There is a crossover in the brain, and this is why they teach you to write with your right hand. And I was speaking to someone who's in a nunnery, or whatever you want to call it. They were a nun, or they knew someone who was a nun, and they forced these people, these nuns, to write with their right hand. You had to write with your right hand. This is why, I'd say at least 70% of the world, or 80%, is right-handed and right-legged, because they taught us this to activate the left hemisphere more because of this crossover that happens in the body. So when we are using this right side more, we are using that left hemisphere more. Why? Why are they doing this? Well, they also called it writing. Writing is a spell, to cast a spell on you, to use that right side of the body so that you use this left hemisphere, because they want you to see the world as a divided perception. They don't want you using the right hemisphere, using that left side of the body to activate the right hemisphere to see the bigger picture and see how everything is all one and everything is created. This left hemisphere domination keeps you from seeing the connections between everything, because that left hemisphere analyzes, it breaks things down. So when we are left hemisphere dominated by using the right side of the body, we are essentially seeing everything as divided. And this is why so many people will not understand my work, because my work connects dots and connects fields of knowledge, and makes you see the bigger picture. So people who are left hemisphere dominated will see my work and think this guy's crazy. But it's all about activating that right hemisphere. So they called it writing because every word you say is molding your mind in some sort of way. The things you see is molding your mind. Everything you take in through the five senses is molding your mind. And language is a massive spell, especially the English language. They called it writing, so that you use that right side. It's a spell because your subconscious mind picks up everything you say. And 90% of your daily basis behavior and thought patterns is produced by these subconscious programs within the subconscious mind. Essentially, your conscious mind is only the 10% of you. The conscious mind is just what you're aware of, what you're wearing, how you're feeling, what you're thinking. That's your conscious mind. The subconscious mind is controlling every system in your body. It's telling your heart to beat without you being conscious of it. So essentially, this is what they're programming. They're programming this system in the back of the mind, which is controlling everything through the words. And this is what spells are, because it's all about creating perception in the subconscious. So they want you to use that right side more. I truly believe the ancients, they were balanced. They used the left and the right side of the body. They didn't have a stronger side because they understood this science of the body and how the body works. So this is actually called phonetics. It's not etymology. Etymology is the study of root words. Phonetics is the study of how words sound similar. The way words are spoken. So phonetics, phone, is why we call them a phone, because you speak into a phone. So this is write and writing, to use that right side to activate the left hemisphere more. So your hands are a manifestation of your brain. The left hand is the right brain. The right hand is the left brain. And as a child, we were always taught that when you place your hands together like this is the size of your brain, which is true because your hands are a part of your brain. They're an extension of your brain. Every part of your body other than your brain is an extension of the brain. Everything's working and feeding back information to the brain because you're experiencing the brain. So another trick that you can do, or another exercise, is looking in the mirror and closing one eye at a time. If you close your right eye, if you take your top off, for example, you'll analyze your body if you close your right eye, because you're using that left hemisphere. Sorry, other way around. If you look at yourself through your right eye, you'll use that left hemisphere, which will analyze yourself. You'll see individual body parts. If you close the right eye and use the left eye, you'll see your body as a whole. You won't really analyze it. This is how you can analyze yourself using these two hemispheres. So this whole system is created to keep you thinking logically and to restrict you from creating and restrict you from understanding symbolism, allegories, metaphors, and teamwork. They want you stuck in a logical way of thinking and a logical way of seeing the world. This is why when you go to school, you are told exactly what to do. You're told to think this way and no other way. You're told to do orders, do this. It's a very left-brained system, because if we all started to open up this right hemisphere, we'd all see, wow, everything is all one. Everything's all connected. And this is what my work is doing. I'm showing you everything is one. The physical world is an illusion of duality, but everything comes from the one source, the one mind. The universe is a giant mind. I am mind, you express mind. We all possess mind. Behind the physical body is the same mind consciousness. And we are all expressions and fractals of this infinite consciousness called mind. And this is what they don't want us to figure out, is that we are all just one consciousness expressed. It's an infinite consciousness. It's even in the squirrel, it's in the dog. All of these different animals, they're just different bodies, but behind the bodies is the same consciousness, which is mind. That's what the pineal gland is. The pineal gland is not the mind, and it's not the third eye. The third eye is your mind. If you have a closed third eye, it just means you have a closed mind. If you have an open third eye, it just means your mind has expanded from beyond physical things through astral projection and mystical experiences. This is how you gain an open third eye. It's just an open mind. A mind that has astral travel, that has explored the realities within the mind. So everything they do is to keep us in a divided state. Divide and conquer, right? That's their motto. All to keep you thinking how everything is divided. Everything they've done is division. Postcodes, countries, everything is divided. like football teams and all this stuff. It's also a natural process when you grow up, because as you grow up, your brain is constantly analyzing the world. So this is sort of a natural process of how you become more left hemisphere dominated, because your brain is always analyzing. And unless something awakens you, you can awaken that right hemisphere where you can start to see the bigger picture. Even the music, it's all tuned to 440 hertz, shuts down the right hemisphere of the brain. 440 hertz, Spotify, Apple Music, the radio. Every time you turn on the radio, it's tuned to 440 hertz. This was specifically tuned. It never used to be tuned to this. It was in the 1950s. It was changed. The standard music tuning was changed to 440 hertz because it shuts down that right hemisphere of the brain. They don't want you thinking, seeing the world in this way and perceiving things as one. And I'm going to show you. It tells you this in the Bible. Cast the net onto the right-hand side of the boat and you will find the fish. What was Jesus saying? This is, you see, people read the Bible and they don't understand it. If the Bible is not talking about you, then it has no meaning. The Bible, everything you read in the Bible is about you and how it can better your life. It occurs to you. So if Jesus says, cast the net onto the right-hand side of the boat, this is an allegory. The boat is your body. Cast the net. It's the awareness, the perception onto the right hemisphere of the brain, and you will find the fish. What's fish? What do fish do? They swim deep in the ocean. It represents the knowledge. Deep knowledge. Cast the net onto the right-hand side of the boat and you will find fish. You will find the wisdom. You will gain understanding when you cast that your awareness into that right hemisphere. You will see that I am you and you are me. We are all one consciousness. You will see everything. You'll see that the trees are the same patterns as the nerves in your body. You'll see everything is connected. Everything is a fractal of the one infinite consciousness. And how many fish did they catch? 153. That adds up to 9. This is now numerology. The Bible's filled with numerology. Adds up to 9. What's 9? Human consciousness. It represents consciousness. You're in the womb for 9 months. Feminine. It's all about consciousness. And in Revelation 14, and I looked and behold, the Lamb standing on Mount Zion. That's the spines, the mountain. With him, 144,000. 144 adds up to 9. It represents consciousness on top of the spine. You see? And he had his name the name of his Father written on the forehead. What's the Father? The higher mind, the higher consciousness within you. Where is that? In the forehead, the pineal gland. The pineal gland is the radio receiver for the higher consciousness. Because every body part of the body has consciousness. Your heart has consciousness. Your gut has consciousness. You are thinking with these different consciousnesses. You think with the gut. You think with your penis. You are thinking with all these consciousness. And it's about raising your consciousness to the higher consciousness, which is the Father, the mind, in the head. Don't think with the lower parts of the body because that is your animal nature. Think with the higher parts of the body. It's all representing consciousness. How to activate the right hemisphere of the brain? Well, it's all to do with non-verbal things. So music will activate the right hemisphere. Make sure it's tuned to the right frequency though. 432 hertz, 528 hertz. Any frequency that adds up to 3, 6, or 9 is good for you. Meditation, turning off the thoughts, and you raise yourself to the higher brain. Symbolism. Symbolism is all right hemisphere. Reading between lines, metaphors, determining the Bible. It's all right hemisphered. Seeing the bigger picture. It's reading between the lines. So tithing in the Bible. These people in the churches are giving 10% of their money to the church. It's nothing but a scam. What these people have done is they have externalized the Bible. They have taken the Bible and literalized it so that they can make a business out of it. So what they're doing is 1/10 of the produce of what it says in the Bible, 1/10 of the produce of the land, whether grain or fruit, is the Lord's and is holy. So what's that saying? The 10th of, it's basically saying give the 10% to the Lord, to God. What does that mean? Well, what's the land and the fruit? This represents physical things, the physical things that you have. The 10th of the physical things that you have. What's that? That's your ego. All the physical things that you have is all to do with your ego. That's the lower self. The ego, what is the ego? It's the mind's perception of the physical self. You had no ego when you were a child. Okay, when you were a child, you had no ego. As you grew older, you created the ego. But the ego is the full self. It's the echo. Ego, echo. It's the echo of the full self. So it's saying give the ego over. Take away the animal self. In that left hemisphere, that's all to do with the left hemisphere. That left hemisphere sees the ego. It sees individuality. It's divided. So it's saying give that 10%. Give that 10% of you over to the right hemisphere. The 90%. The 90% of you is in that right hemisphere. The higher self. Now, I'm not saying the left hemisphere is bad. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. But it sees it sees things divided. It's like I said, the left, the hands are manifestations of the brain. So when these Christians are praying, they're putting their hands together. What are they doing? They're syncing the brain hemispheres. What you're doing, because everything's an extension of your brain. So if you put your hands together, you're putting the two hemispheres together. And what's happening when you place the hands together? All the electricity in the body is now running in a circuit. So once you connect these two hands, the electrical energy is now running in a circuit. And energy can move around the body quicker and more efficiently. So when you pray, when these people are praying, they don't realize that they're engaging in ancient forms of meditation, of balancing the two hemispheres. So now we're talking about balancing the hemispheres, not the right hemisphere. This is what Israel is. Look at the symbol for Israel, the up triangle and the downward triangle. What's that? The up triangle represents male. The downward triangle represents female. Okay? So this is talking about the brains. Israel is Ra. Isis, which is female, the Egyptian god. Ra, El. El means God. Electricity. That's the force of the physical world. It's the force that runs this world, electricity. It's the force of God. El, consciousness. It means God. Israel. Isis, Ra, and El. It's the two hemispheres of the brain, the holy land of Israel. It's the holy land, it's the brain. Once these two hemispheres are synced, this is how you unlock your consciousness. This is the easiest way of astral projecting. Hemisphering, I forgot the word for it. Hemisphere syncretization, something like that. It's about syncing the hemispheres. This is how you unlock your consciousness. Once the brain is running as one electrical system, this is how you balance the two masculine and male opposing energies. Once these opposing energies are no longer in war with each other, the brain, they come together to work as one. You unlock your consciousness. You are born again. What happens when a male and female have sex? It creates a new child. It becomes one. You are born again. Once the two hemispheres of the brain, you are born again. You can then have an out-of-body experiences. So this is why the symbol of the Holy Land, Israel, is the up and down triangle back combined together, because it represents unification of the male and female, unification of the hemispheres. You're born again. You unlock consciousness. And you can get this for free. It's called the Gateway Tapes on my website. Basically, it's a audio track from the government, and they did this in the Gateway Experience. It's a CIA document, and what they do is there are different forms of meditations you go through. I think there's about 5 waves of meditations you do, half an hour each one, and it will teach you. It will sync your hemisphere, because what does it do? They understood that playing one frequency into one ear and another frequency into the other, they understood that the right ear is connected to the left hemisphere. The left ear is connected to the right hemisphere. So when you play two different frequencies into both ears, what happens? The brain picks this up. The two hemispheres of the brain picks this up, and it syncs it. It syncs these two hemispheres, these two frequencies together. So now the brain is working as one to sync this frequency. So this is how you can sync your hemispheres through listening to these frequencies. Okay, you can get them for free and do the meditations yourself. This will definitely help you. This is an easy way to astral project. So it's all about syncing the hemisphere and seeing reality from a unified perception. We should all aim to get out of that left hemisphere. I'm not saying don't use it, but we should now start to read between the lines of the Bible, read between the lines of the symbolism they're showing. Study symbolism, study allegories and myths. What are they trying to tell us through these allegories? And, this is how we start seeing things in a better way. Once we understand that we are all microcosms of an infinite consciousness, we can all come to one, because love is the unifying force of this infinite consciousness. We are all divided. We are all disconnected from our hearts. Once we all connect with our hearts and see that everything is one, we can all start to love and come together as one, because love is the unifying force of consciousness. So if you haven't already seen, I now have launched the Ethereal University. I will be doing lectures like this one, but even better, deeper, and even releasing knowledge that I can't talk about online, as they are censored. I'll be doing lectures every single week. I'll be doing live calls every single week. You also gain access to my library, which is filled with over 45 occult books, filled with knowledge. Okay, I'll show you now. Plus, you get my book, The Book of Wisdom, PDF form, and the Human Health Guide, PDF form. You also get all of this stuff, the health section, Q&As, ethereal meditations. We've got some celestial studies, cosmology, numerology coming soon. You also get the brand new Manifestation Mastery course, plus the library. And there'll be new books, new lectures, new live calls every single week. Or you can get the Book of Wisdom, use the code WISDOM in all capital letters to gain 40% off. This sale will be ending very, very soon. So if you're watching this, be very quick to get yourself a physical version or a PDF of my book. You can get it in all these languages. Hope you enjoyed this video, people. I'll see you inside the Ethereal University, the real university. Have an amazing day. Neo is plugged in on the back of the neck, which is the reptilian brainstem. The reptilian brain is all to do with survival mode, survival state. It's always scanning the environment for safety, whether that's physically, emotionally, or mentally. It does not think. It is instant. For example, do I smack the guy or run off? If something happens to you, like a car's coming really quick to you, you do not think about this. The reptilian brain is the animal instinct that will instantly move your body on the instant reactions. Hence why it's the closest brain to the rest of the body. It has instant access to the electrical nervous system to control the body at instant reactions. Now, Neo is plugged in on the back of the neck, which is the reptilian brain. Therefore, the matrix is the body itself. It is the lowest state of consciousness. This is what it represents. The word matrix means womb. It translates to womb because your body is a womb. Your body is a vessel for universal consciousness, for God consciousness. And the body is also a womb where you can be born again outside of this body by raising your consciousness, by awakening the neocortex. This is why Neo is called Neo, because it represents the neocortex. This is the higher aspect of our brain. This is all to do with new things, higher reasoning, higher thinking, new learning. You see, the brain is a receiver for universal consciousness. Now, what do I mean? It is a radio receiver. Think of it like this. You have a radio tower which emits frequencies, and each little frequency, 00.1, 00.2, 00.3, each 00 point is a different person. We are all the same universal consciousness encapsulated inside of a different vessel. This is why our body is the temple of God inside of the Bible. Your body is a sacred temple of the divine essence of the universe. However, consciousness is controlling this physical body. And I'll show you this diagram here. Consciousness consists of imagination, emotions, thought, and memory. All of these things are not physical. They're not made out of atoms. You cannot think with atoms. If I split open your brain while you are thinking of a cheesecake, I would not see a cheesecake. It's because these things exist metaphysically within consciousness. They are not physical. The body is physical. It's part of matter. It's part of time. You see the Leonardo da Vinci, the circle and the square. The square represents limitation, beginning and end, because when you draw a square, there is a beginning and end. It represents the body, the mortal self, the ego, the echo. Then you have the spirit raised above, which represents spirit over matter, mind over matter. Invisible forces create physical forces. Everything physical exists in non-physical. This is also the Freemasonic square and compass, why the square is below the compass, because the compass creates the circle, which is spirit or mind. Then you have the square, which is matter. Mind and matter are the same substance. Mind creates matter through thought. Everything in this physical universe manifested through thought. Everything began as thought. So you are spirit and matter. You have a material body and a spiritual body. And you are right in the middle. This is why humans are very, very important. Because we have an animal nature, the reptilian brain, and a higher consciousness, the neocortex. And we must awaken out of the matrix, which means womb, which is the body. And neo is waken up from the lower self, the reptilian brain, and moves into the neocortex. Because the brain is a radio receiver for consciousness. Now, what do I mean? I went over this before. Your consciousness is controlling the brain. The brain is a computer. And when our consciousness, our imagination, our emotion, our thoughts, and our memories are all contributing towards just survival things, food, safety, fear, all of these things, and our consciousness is locked into a survival state, we are using the reptilian brain. We're no longer thinking. You don't think with the brain, but the consciousness is thinking, which activates the different parts of the brain. When we think for higher reasoning, we use the neocortex. It stimulates the neocortex. When we think about survival, we're using the reptilian brain. So therefore, when Neo wakes up, he wakes up to the higher aspects of consciousness, which is only utilized by the neocortex, by learning new things, an expansion of the mind and expansions of consciousness. Okay? So the whole matrix is to keep you designed, well, the whole matrix is designed to keep you in a survival state, in the three-dimensional awareness. They want you constantly scanning for safety, scanning for food, scanning for emotional safety in relationships, in other people. You see, they do not want you to think. They want you stuck in that reptile, that animal state, that beastly state that most people are in. Most people, all they do is eat, listen to music, consume, have sex, lust, desire, This is all the reptilian brain. So when we say the world's being ran by reptilians, it's symbolic. There is no physical reptilian humanoid beings controlling, manipulating human consciousness. We are all the same consciousness. However, there is a corrupted state of consciousness running this world. And this consciousness worships the physical plane. And they control the physical plane. So by doing that, they keep you stuck in a reptilian way of thinking, the animal state, to keep you stuck in the lowest state of consciousness. Now this is the god Osiris, which represents the reptilian brain. None of the Egyptian gods ever existed. They are all symbolic for the brain and anatomy of the human body. Osiris represents the reptilian brain. As you can see, this anatomy compare to the brain stem and Osiris statue found in Egypt. And we also see an ancient artwork of Osiris with green skin and two reptile crocodile alligators next to him, which also symbolizes the reptilian survival state of human consciousness and the activation of the reptilian brain. This is what it symbolizes. Now, this is what the Matrix is all talking about. It's talking about the awakening, the expansion of consciousness. The word divine is dive in because you connect with the divine by diving inward. There is no man in the sky going to save you. You must connect with the self. Know thyself. Truth comes from within. All of these things I'm telling you comes from within you. I'm just pointing it out. All of this is self-realization. A lot of people say, well, what are my sources? My sources is knowing thyself, observing thyself, using the neocortex of critically thinking, sitting down and thinking about yourself and having deep realization of yourself. You can realize that your thoughts are not of this physical world. It's quite simple. The brain does not think. The brain does not imagine. The brain does not hold memory. All of these things exist in consciousness, the one consciousness, but we are all fractal, infinite parts of. This is the eye on the triangle, consciousness being given down to the rest. This is separate. Consciousness is separate from the rest of the pyramid. The pyramid is your body. Neo is the one consciousness. This is the Egyptians symbolizing the one consciousness giving Ankh, which is life, to all the different life forms. However, you can see that the central sphere is giving a big Ankh to the humans, because humans, like I said, possess the advanced consciousness, an advanced brain that allows us to turn above our reptilian animal self. For example, we can go against our reptilian lower animal nature and turn to our godly nature. Animals cannot do that. They are stuck in instinct. They are stuck in a reptilian animal way of thinking and operating. Everything they create is to survive. We can turn against our lower nature and create for amazing things like buildings, architecture, technology. We can use our creative consciousness for anything we wish, not just survival needs. And it's the same with your spiritual journey. You can raise your consciousness beyond this animal state that they try to keep you in through fear, consumption, food, and the reptilian brain. We must awaken, start to think critically, and awaken to our divinity. Because the mind, the consciousness within you has infinite potential to expand. There are infinite fields of knowledge that you can explore. The mind can never be filled. It can never ever be full of knowledge. It always expands, and that's why you are alive. That's why you are part of this universe. That's why the science always says the universe is always expanding, because the universe exists in your mind, and the mind is always expanding into new fields of thought, new fields of knowledge and information. And that is your whole sole purpose, of expansion of mind and expansion of consciousness, and the exploration of the mind of God. We are living in the mind of God. You are a thought in the mind of God. You must awaken out of this body. This is why Jesus says you must be born again to see the kingdom of God. You must be born again. You must raise your consciousness beyond physical limitation and awaken to your divinity. And this is pretty much it for this video. I hope you all understand this, that this is all symbolic for consciousness.
Welcome to Revival of Wisdom.
Welcome people, we're back with another video, and this video is about Freemasonry and their connection to the Illuminati. Please, as always, to make sure to hit that like and the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to never miss a video. On May the 1st, 1776, the founder of the Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, founded this secret organization, and this date can be found in Roman numerals underneath the all-seeing eye pyramid on the $1 bill. This $1 bill also says Anu Coptus Novus Ordo Secularum. This is Latin for announcing the birth of the New World Order. This New World Order will be headed by Lucifer, the all-seeing eye, and followed by the 13 layers of bricks for the 13 elite bloodlines. So your Orsini's, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Soroses, and the other 9 elite families. So when Adam Weishaupt created the Illuminati, he made it consisting of high-level degree Masons, French and Latin philosophers, and many more powerful people to all become one society. So this is why you see Masons using this same symbol of the all-seeing eye inside the pyramid. But not all Freemasons are part of this Illuminati secret society. As the 33rd degree Freemason Manly P. Hall said in his book The Secret Teachings of All Ages, Freemasonry is a fraternity within a fraternity, an outer organization concealing an inner brotherhood of the elect. So what he's saying here is that Freemasons have to go up the degrees of Freemasonry, and once they hit the top, they either get elected or not into these secret societies like the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and Knights Templar.
So when you see celebrities doing this one-eye symbolism, either covering one eye, doing the triangle, or doing 666 over one eye, this is showing and reflecting the symbolism of Freemasonry. They have taken the oath to never speak on anything they learn about Freemasonry. Duncan's Ritual of Freemasonry book states the oath they have to take. Quote, I ... of my own free will and accord, that I will hail, ever conceal, and never reveal any of the secrets, arts, points of Master Mason's degree to any person whomsoever. All this most solemnly, sincerely promise and swear. Now, this is what happens when they break the oath, stated in this book, quote, myself severed in two, my bowels taken from thence, and burnt to ashes. So this states that Freemasonry comes first, before any law of the land. It has the right to kill you if you break your oath. This is the hand gesture they have to do every time they enter the ritual room inside the Masonic lodge. This is the cutthroat symbol, showing you and reminding you of the oath and what will happen if you break it. Now in this book, Richardson's Monitor of Freemasonry,
It states, if you break your oath, binding myself under no less penalty than to have my throat cut across, my tongue torn out by the roots, and my body buried in the rough sands of the sea. If they do not decide to kill you, this book states this by pointing him out to the world as an unworthy vagabond, by opposing his interest, by dearranging his business. In other words, they have the power to frame you and destroy your reputation to the world and destroy your business if you break this oath. So yes, they do kill to keep this truth hidden, because this truth of this reality is what keeps them in power. They have the ability to manipulate people because people do not know what manipulates them. This is why they call themselves the government. They govern the ment, which is the mentality, because the mind is the root cause of reality. They control what you perceive to control what you manifest. By knowing the truth, you are set free, and you no longer need no controller above you. So this is why they are willing to kill and do whatever it takes to keep the truth concealed within these high-level degrees of masonry and these secret societies. However, going back to Manly P. Hall's book, it states, part of the symbols are displayed here to the initiate, but he is intentionally misled by false interpretations. So this is saying even Freemasons are intentionally misled and told lies to conceal the truth, to make sure the truth is hidden in the high degrees of masonry. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you all for tapping in. Please leave a like and a subscribe. God bless.
Welcome back, people, to another occult lecture by Revival of Wisdom. Today we're going to be talking about magic and how it's being used on us for the New World Order. Magic has the word mag within it, which is magnetism. Magnetism is the force. Magic is influencing forces, natural or supernatural forces, and using it for a certain agenda to gain something out of it. Now, magic is not what everyone's being thought. It's not some sort of fantasy thing. It's actually very common, and we all do it, whether you believe it or not. Magic is all to do with the mind. As I said, always say in my lectures, your mind is what creates matter. Your mind is what creates your external world. So it's all about manipulating and planting seeds within the mind, because your mind is a garden, and thoughts and words are seeds which are being planted in that garden. Your life, your physical life, the people you have in your life, your friends, your car you own, the job you have, is all a reflection of the thoughts that you've been thinking in the past. You are where you are in life because of the thoughts that you've been thinking. Therefore, your life is a direct reflection and manifestation of your mind. The Garden of Eden. Okay? The mind is what they are targeting. What you see, say, and hear has a direct effect on your mind. Me talking to you is influencing you. The words I'm saying is planting seeds within your mind. Now it's up to you to consciously act on these thoughts or these words, or to maintain these words. As above, so below. As within, so without. What's inside of me is outside of me. What comes into the storehouse comes out of the storehouse. You have the left, you have the right, you have the up, and you have the down. As above, so below. Whatever is in your mind will be expressed in some sort of way, consciously or subconsciously, spiritually or physically. The mind is what manifests everything. And this is what we need to understand. We need to understand is that the mind is not physical. All things spiritual manifest physical. All things seen come from the unseen. The words you're thinking, that everything you have is coming from the unseen. The actions that you do come from the unseen mind. Another expression for as above, so below is you are the universe itself. You are a universe, a mini universe. But just because you are mini does not mean you are the whole thing. If I take a little piece of infinite, let's say there's an infinite light source. Let's say I take a little chunk of that infinite light source. That little chunk I took is still infinite because it's been taken from infinite. You are the universe. Your awareness, your mind is the universe. It's information. You are the universe experiencing itself. This is why we say we are all God. As above, so below. What is in me is outside of me. The sun, the physical manifestation of the sun is your soul. The 12 constellations are manifested in the physical body. The 5 elements are manifested in the physical body. They're manifested in the 5 fingers you have. As above, so below. This is manifested, this is a symbolized in Freemasonry and secret societies as the 2 pillars. The mirroring reflection, the reflection of reality, the mirror, as above, so below. What happens in the mind, what happens in the astral, happens in the physical. This is Aleister Crowley. This is all symbolism. This is the 2 pillars with the all-seeing eye and the triangle at the top. Aleister Crowley was a master magician, very powerful dark magician, black magician. There's 2 types of magic. You have white and black, just like the checkered board, the Masonic checkered board. You have white and black. You have good and evil. White magic is influencing natural forces to gain something that will help the collective consciousness, help the collective, help the earth, help other people. Black magic is something you manipulate something so you can get something personal out of it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's still considered as black magic because you're being selfish. Everything you do should be contributing towards the collective consciousness and helping others. And this is why the ancients lived in a system where everything was in unity. We understood that I am you and you are me. What I do to you happens to me because I am you and you are me. We are the same mind substance on the inside. We're all the same mind substance being expressed in different bodies. So what I do to your mind will have a ripple effect on my mind because all of our minds are connected within the mental plane. So this is why they know all this knowledge. They know all this knowledge. So yeah, this is the mirroring effect of reality, the 2 pillars, or symbolizes the number 11. The number 11. We'll go deeper into that. The technology we're using is magic. It's a form of magic. Television is tell-a-vision. They're telling a vision into your subconscious mind, into your memory. And when you turn on the television, you get a program because they're telling a vision to create a program within your subconscious mind. You see, the conscious mind is only 10% of your mind, which is to do with your, what you're aware of, your 5 senses. What are you consciously Aware of? Well, I'm aware I'm here, I'm talking. I'm aware of what I'm wearing, the five senses, what I can hear, taste, smell, hear. What I'm wearing, I'm aware of what I think of. But the subconscious mind is the 90% of your mind. It's the hidden part of the mind, which is telling your heart to beat, telling your body to breathe. It's storing all of your emotions. It's storing everything you see, storing all the belief systems that you have. It has everything. It stores all of the habits you have, the values. It stores everyone's name that you know. All the words that I'm speaking right now is all coming out of the subconscious. Everything is subconscious. And it literally manipulates 90% of your daily basis behavior. Most people don't know this. What you did yesterday is what you will do today because of these beliefs and mental programs within the subconscious, stored within the subconscious. So the subconscious is what they're aiming at. They're trying to create programs within the subconscious because the subconscious manifests 90% of your thought patterns, 90% of your actions and words. They know all this stuff. So the subconscious mind is the most powerful part of the mind. Another way the subconscious manifests and influences your life is, let's say you were in a car crash years and years ago, 10 years ago. Let's say you're in this car crash, right? And you really hurt yourself. The emotion you felt in that time when you were injured in that car crash had a great impression on your subconscious mind. You see, the stronger you feel something emotionally, the stronger impact it has on the subconscious. You can remember and recall that moment and very vividly because of the impact it had on the subconscious. For example, you become that terrified of cars that it manifests into your life today, that you are wary to go in certain cars. You don't want to go into cars at all, maybe, because of that moment that stood within the subconscious. And it will manifest into anxiety. It will manifest into not going into cars. It will manifest into depression, maybe. These things, these emotional, very emotional, traumatic events have a great impression on our subconscious and they control your life. This is why you need to meditate and let go deep within yourself and let go of these internal deep emotions that you may have repressed and keep pressing down and ignoring. But you need to address it and let go of these subconscious impressions you have, which are controlling your life, like anxiety, depression. All of these things are stemming from things that are stored within your subconscious years and years ago, more than likely. Broadcasting. They're casting spells to a broad audience, to news, north, east, west, and south. They're casting spells. No, if you watch the news, everything's red. Breaking news in red writing or the red background. Everything's red. Why? Because red's the root chakra, which is all to do with survival. They want to stimulate this root chakra because they want you down there in survival mode. They want you in survival mode because you're easier to control. They control out of fear. And not only they're casting these spells as if, because most of the things they cast in the news hasn't already happened. They're constantly bombarding you with, there might be a war breaking out, war this, war that, kill here, kill there, murders. It's impressing, it's casting spells on your subconscious mind. So when the event does turn up in real reality, in physical reality, you're less emotional, you're less surprised. You're not as surprised because you've already heard it before. Your subconscious has already heard it all before. If you never heard of a war and then a war broke out, you'd be going crazy. So they subtly program your subconscious mind through the words, because the words they say is impressing your mind. It has an effect on your mind, which will have an effect on your behavior, your words, your conversations you have with people. They're casting spells to north, east, west, and south on the tell a vision. They're telling a vision by broadcasting, by saying spells. This is why we call it spelling. Even the word, listen, the words we say cast spells. Bless. Oh, bless you. That's be less. The subconscious mind only picks up literal things. You see, when I say bless you, your conscious mind picks that up as, oh, thank you, you're blessing me. But your subconscious picks up as be less. You see? Because the subconscious it has no filter. It's just, it is what it is. Everything is factual in the subconscious. Therefore, if I call you an idiot, your subconscious, my subconscious will think I'm talking to myself and calling myself an idiot, and it will take that as true. That is truth. Everything is truth within the subconscious. And the subconscious manifests your behavior. The devices this is the biggest one. Black scrying mirrors, device, the devil's vice, the device. Okay? Black scrying mirrors, black screen is scrying. Black scrying mirrors were used to communicate with spirits within the astral plane in the medieval times. They're still being used now by black obsidian mirrors. And look at your phone, it's a black mirror. And there's some sort of, I'm not saying this is fact, but personally, I believe these are portals for spirits and ethereal entities to come into your life, to come into your surroundings. So this is the next big thing. The TVs, your iPhone, your iPod, all black mirrors. And mirrors are very, very powerful. Even just a normal mirror. Mirrors have an effect. Whatever you say into a mirror, what you say is energy. And when you say something into a mirror, you're saying it into yourself. It's an infinite cycle of words of energy because it's being reflected infinite times. When you say something into a mirror, it has a massive effect. You're saying it directly into your eyes, into your mind. So what you say in a mirror should be said with precaution. Never say anything negative into a mirror, because mirrors are very, very powerful ways for you to reprogram your subconscious mind for the good. You can say very positive things into mirrors and it will reprogram your subconscious mind. Okay? Manifesting is all magic. It's all magic. Everything is magic. But consciously doing it is what they're doing. They hid this knowledge. Your phone is magic. It manipulates your mind. The iPhone. Okay? See, magic isn't all of this with wands. See, Harry Potter, okay, that was created to give you this perception of a mystical and amazing form of magic with magic wands and all sorts of stuff like that. Yes, that stuff was true when the collective conscious minds were on a higher level and our belief systems believed in these things, because the universal mind, all of our minds contribute to reality. If the masses don't believe in magic, if the masses don't believe in a certain thing, it's going to have an effect on physical reality. So when the collective minds are higher and have more open minds, things like Harry Potter can come true. See, it's all in the mind. The iPhone, the eye is the symbol for the mind, the invisible intelligence. The triangle is the ethereal plane. Okay, so the eye in the triangle is the eye that sees into the beyond the ethereal planes. The square is the physical plane. So the iPhone, your phone, is a black box, just like the Saturn black cube. It's a black mirror. It's taking photos of you every 2 seconds, and it's your mind. Your mind is in that phone. Everything you like, everything you text, everything you type in Google, everything you say to someone, every conversation is all recorded on the phone. Therefore, it is a direct reflection of your mind. Your mind is imprinted into your phone because your mind, everything you think in your mind, you're manifesting into typing, saying, taking pictures into the phone, and it's collecting it and storing it. And what they're doing, and this is for all forms of magic, it's manipulating the mind. It's all manipulating the mind. Reels, Instagram, TikTok, this is all dopamine. It's all controlling the mind. Every like you get, every follow you get, every share that you get is dopamine within your brain. They're literally targeting your brain and mind. It's all manipulating, because what they're pushing through the phones, through the media, through the news, through the televisions is visions and programs. You are the one manifesting the New World Order. They're not manifesting the New World Order. They're giving you the information so you can manifest the New World Order. Everything they say is contributing to your mind. For example, digital money and all the information they put out for you to see is contributing to your enslavement. Your mind is manifesting the New World Order. They know this. They don't manifest it. There's billions of us. We could easily run over them physically. But on a mental level, these people have the knowledge and they hide it from us, and they let us manifest reality because we are the collective. They give us the information which manifests their agenda. It's all magic through the phones, the media, the television. So your phone is a manifestation of your mind. It's a record of your mind. Hollywood, holly tree, holy tree. They used to make wands out of holy trees, because it was the most holiest wood, the best for casting and transmitting energy. So they used holly trees to cast spells. That's what Hollywood is. And in Hollywood, they have the red tear, the blood drop next to the Hollywood sign, because it's all satanic. They're all black magicians. They use Hollywood to cast the spells through the music, through the films. You see, music is a form of magic. All of this is magic. Everything they do is a form of magic, because they want an agenda behind it. But it's not black magic. They're letting us create our prison. This is what you have to see. Yes, they're evil, but they're not doing anything evil, or else they would face the karma. They let us manifest this agenda through giving in the information, by telling you what's going to happen in the movies. Everything that happens in a movie, it's all there on purpose to program your subconscious, to plant a seed within your garden, your subconscious, your mind. Because when the mind has already seen something, when it comes up and turns up in physical reality, you will be less shocked. and you won't rebel. So they lure you slowly. They make you aware of these things over time. They make you gradually think it's okay. Like the technology, we never used to use these phones. How did we become so addicted and reliant on them? Well, because first they gave you a little flick phone. Well, no, sorry, they gave you a phone in your house, and then once you got used to that, they say, "Oh, here's the newest version of a little flick phone." You started texting your friends. Everyone was loving it in high school. They could now meet up without saying, "Let's meet on the weekend at this point at this time," like your parents probably did, or maybe some of you watching this, you probably had to tell your friend to meet on the weekend at a certain time because you had no way of communicating. So everyone got these phones and got addicted to them. Then they slowly got addicted to the new iPod with the touch screen. Now they invented touch screen. Then everyone got addicted to touch screens. Then because all of this is producing dopamine in the brain, which creates you to become mentally addicted to things and physically addicted, chemically addicted. Because dopamine's a chemical. Your subconscious becomes a program within your subconscious, and your body becomes chemically addicted to these phones. And these phones are the enslavement of humanity, technology. Without this, we wouldn't be in this mess without technology. Because they're creating a hive mind. We're creating a hive mind. So back on track anyways, they program you. Look at the films, 9/11, all produced by Hollywood. Here's the 11, like I said at the beginning, the two pillars which reflect reality. What happens in the mind happens in the physical. What happens in the astral happens in the physical. Okay, what happens in the physical happens in the mind. It's the two pillars, the mirrors. 9/11. 9 plus 1 plus 1 is 11. Flight 11 was hijacked. New York is the 11th state. New York adds up to 111. This is not a coincidence. It's all a form of magic. It's a ritual, energy harvesting ritual, because your mind produces energy. Your mental attention produces energy. And they're feeding off this energy in the astral plane, these demons. Music is the most powerful. Personally, I think the music is one of the most powerful forms of magic they're using. Okay? Music is hypnosis. It puts your brain in a hypnotic state. It influences your electromagnetic field through vibrational energy. It reprograms your subconscious mind. Why do you think you remember the lyrics? You see, your subconscious stores all of the memories. Remember, the subconscious manifests 90% of your behavior. So therefore, the music you're listening to is manifesting your behavior. You wondered why some people wonder why they have drug addictions and they can't get out of violence and they can't get out of all this negative mind space. It's because the music they're listening to is creating a negative mind space. The words you listen to have plant seeds within your mind. So the reason you remember the lyrics is because that song created a program within your subconscious. Yes, that is what happens. You can use magic to reprogram your mind, but you can use music to reprogram your mind because it's all forms of magic. It's using natural mental energy forces to manipulate the physical reality. You manipulate your mind, you manipulate reality, physical reality. Okay? So the music, another very, very big one. When you turn on the radio, it's just all talks about alcohol, drugs, and sex because they want you down in the lower three chakras. They want your mind attached to matter when it's mind over matter. Your mind's not physical. You see, the word spirituality is the new trend. It's not about your spirit. It's not about your spirit. It's about your mind. It's not about, uh, spirituality and looking after your spirit. And they've got you focused on your spirit. Why? Because they hide your mind from you. You see, a lot of people think their mind is their brain, but the mind is everything. There is no physical reality without mind. You can have a brain. Imagine if you had no mind but a brain. It wouldn't work. The mind is everything. The mind controls your avatar. It begins in the mind before it happens in the brain. Then the brain manifests through the body. The brain's just an electrical computer. So that, they've got people scared, or do I have a soul or not, and all this stuff. Listen, if you have a mind, you have a soul, because you are not the mind. This is why everything is sort of an illusion, because beyond the mind is your soul. But what is the soul without a mind? You can't have a soul without the mind. But if the mind didn't exist, the soul doesn't exist. You are the person listening to your mind. I shouldn't say person, because you're not the body. You're the entity behind the mind. But if you didn't have that mind, you couldn't understand what you even were. You would just be an observer who couldn't think. So yes, we all have a soul. If you have a mind, you have a soul. Everything is mind. Everything has mind. Mind creates everything. God is mind. And then manipulating your mind through TV, your phone, every little thing. The school, it's all about the mind, people. Control your mind, you control your reality. Just the last thing, here you go. Aleister Crowley, the dark magician, Kanye West doing the exact same thing because they're implementing magic in the music. Here's the Beatles with Aleister Crowley in the background. Bet you never noticed that. Aleister Crowley was influencing music and placing magic within the music to influence the subconscious. This is what Baal worship was. This is why they killed children. They sacrificed these children. Why? Well, because in order to ascend, in order to raise your consciousness internally, godly, by being good, God, or being in order to be good and raise your consciousness and to get something in the physical world, you have to sacrifice yourself. And what do I mean by that? In order to raise your consciousness and ascend, you have to sacrifice the lower nature of yourself. You've got to abstain from having sex to retain your sexual energy, to transmute it, or staying away from negative, some poisonous foods like meat. So, staying away from blood. We shouldn't be consuming other animals' blood. We should be keeping our blood pure. We are humans. We shouldn't consume chicken blood, chicken germs. We are the most divine creatures on this creation. We are the most intellectual creatures in this creation. Therefore, we should keep our temples pure. We are not animals. If you want to associate yourself with an animal, go out in the wild, go and find a wild boar and go and try rip its guts out with your bare teeth, because you can't do it. You're not a cat. You're not a carnivore. Okay? So in order to ascend, you have to kill and sacrifice your lower part of yourself to ascend up to your spirit self, your mind self, the highest version. And the elites don't want to do this. So they sacrifice other things like babies to kill them, to exchange their life over to the astral plane, so these demigods in the astral plane can give them something in return in physical. They don't want to sacrifice their lower self, so they sacrifice other things for exchange, for physical pleasure. But the godly person sacrifices their lower self for their higher self to do good and ascend. So this is what all the Baal worship is, people, and this is why they're doing it. Hope you all had an amazing lecture. If you haven't already, go and get the Book of Wisdom for more information. You know, I don't go into dark stuff in this book because all I do is enlighten people in this book. You can get it in Spanish, English, German, Italian, and French. Worldwide shipping, you can get the PDF or paperback. Or there is also a new one called the Human Health Guide 2.0. It gives you a list of all the foods, grains, oils, and nuts, you know, everything that's alkaline and positive for the body and not man-made and hybrid. It tells you all the products to stay away from, how to fast, how to improve vision, how to improve everything, literally. So the Human Health Guide has been released. If you want that, I'll pull all the links in the bottom in the description. Hope you all enjoyed the lecture, people. God bless you all. In this video, we're going to be talking about the evolution of consciousness. You are born human, however, you possess consciousness, which is the awareness behind your being, the awareness behind your thoughts, the experiencer behind your five senses, the experiencer, the observer behind your thought, emotions, and senses. You are an eye, an invisible consciousness looking through a lens, which is your body. Your body produces this physical world that you experience. Your brain produces this world. Your brain and body is a technological computer. However, you are an infinite, ever-expanding consciousness behind this physical body. And there is an evolution of consciousness, a cosmic journey of expansion. And this is why we see so much pyramid symbolism in the occult and esoteric world, and especially within Freemasonry. Because the pyramid represents climbing, an evolution, a raising state of consciousness, a journey. Steps symbolize a journey upwards. This is the raising and the evolution of consciousness, our inner world. The transmutation of our inner selves, of our souls and consciousness and our minds. So when we see this pyramid, we're seeing a evolution, a way up to source consciousness. And the eye in the pyramid represents your source consciousness. It represents illumination. It represents divine guidance through this evolution of consciousness. This is why we see the ladder. Consciousness is ever expanding on an infinite journey of evolution. Each individual is a part of this cosmic process, contributing towards the ongoing expansion of both mind and awareness. As we evolve, we collectively explore deeper levels of existence, expanding the boundaries of thought and consciousness. The mind has the ability to expand infinitely into new realms of thought, into new dimensions of mind. The mind cannot be filled up. It is not a physical substance. The body can be filled up because it is a physical thing, but you cannot fill the mind. Therefore, the mind is constantly expanding, ever expanding into new fields of thought. So what we see in Freemasonry, the ladder, is again a journey, an elevation of consciousness. When we are born with an infant consciousness, and as we gain older, we gain an adult consciousness. Our inner world, our inner mind, and our emotional intellect changes and evolves. We are significantly different from when we were very young as an infant. It's because our consciousness evolutes, it changes, it alters like water. So, just like this evolution of your own consciousness as growing up, there is consciousness of beings existing in cycles beyond our own. And their consciousness is unimaginably unimaginably different from ours. They operate on a higher level of understanding and knowing, experiencing reality in ways that transcend our current comprehension. Our minds right now cannot comprehend the highest states of consciousness. There are entities, there are beings beyond our own, existing in higher dimensions of consciousness that we cannot comprehend because they have expanded. They are on a further way up the ladder of consciousness. However, we are all on the same journey. None of us can take the same journey. There is one ultimate goal, reaching source consciousness. However, this is always ever expanding. However, we are all on a different journey. There is one truth, one source, one goal. However, there are billions in different ways of reaching it, and we are all on these different paths to source consciousness, to this ladder, this evolution of universal evolution. Okay? Their awareness is attuned to new dimensions of existence, reflecting a more advanced stage in the cosmic journey of consciousness evolution. So when you take DMT, you are shot into these higher realms of consciousness where you meet these beings who look similar to these images. They are not speaking to you physically. They don't speak to you three-dimensionally through vibration and words. They speak to you mentally. If you have done DMT, then you know this. And if you have met these beings, then you know this. You might have even met some of these types of beings on mushrooms or any psychedelic drugs. Because ultimately, when you take these mind-altering substances, it's altering your consciousness. It's merging your consciousness with the spirit of that substance. And you are essentially attuning your mind to higher dimensions of consciousness. That's why we say we're getting high when we take these substances. Therefore, when you meet these beings on DMT, you are essentially meeting beings who are attuned to higher dimensions of consciousness, and they speak to you mentally. They speak to you telepathically through thought, because the universe is mental. Everything exists within the mind. The way you are now, your physical existence, is a state of mind. Mind, thought creates matter. Spirit and matter are two opposing ways of thinking. If we have a very spiritual mind, we have an expanded mind, we are a spiritual person through the mind. However, if we have a very low state of consciousness where we think about food, sex, lust, and all physical things, then we have a physical consciousness. Matter and spirit are two opposing forces, two ways of thinking. The mind attunes itself to different levels of understanding in different dimensions. So, essentially, this is what we're looking at. The body is a vessel for the fluidic, formless consciousness, a temple that houses the essence of our awareness. While the five senses are limited to perceiving only the physical plane, the mind transcends these limitations, capable of perceiving the full scope of reality. It is through the mind that we access deeper truths beyond the material, tapping into boundless nature of existence. Physical existence is a thin band, a thin layer of reality. It's like 0.001% of reality. And your five senses are only tuned into this layer of reality. But the five senses are, by design, only allowed to perceive physicality. But the mind has the power to expand beyond this physical five sense state. The mind has the power to expand and evolute. It is a conscious decision whether you want to take this path or not. You can stay in a three-dimensional way of thinking, or you can expand your consciousness from within. It's not an external journey. There is no God going to save you. You must save yourself. Therefore, behind every single one of these eyes is the same source consciousness. However, we are all different cells in a different journey. The organs in your body, the cells in your body are all alive. They all possess same consciousness, universal consciousness. However, we are all on a different journey of evolution. As above, so below. As the baby is in the mother's womb, when the baby becomes conscious, there is a world outside of its mother. What does it do? It presses and seeks a way out to be born in the other world outside of its mother. It is the same with your consciousness, your mind. When your mind becomes aware that there is realities beyond the immediate surroundings, it seeks a way out. And this is exactly what I'm doing to you now. I am now expanding your mind and telling you there is other ways of reality. There's other dimensions of consciousness which you can access through inner transmutation, through different ways of thinking, spiritualism, and meditating and connecting with yourself and detaching from external things. We can upgrade our consciousness. Your body is a womb. Why Jesus says you must be born again to see the kingdom of God, because you are born physically and then you must be born again spiritually, awakening your inner consciousness. So like I said, as the baby is in the womb, it's the same principle. As above, so below. You were a baby, you were in your mother's womb, and you figured out there is a world outside of your mother, so you seek to weigh out your mother to be born in another world. It's the same now. You must do this now. This is your spiritual evolution. This is the evolution of consciousness. It's ever expanding. When you die, this is a transition. You must learn to not fear death. This is another part of your spiritual journey. You must master death. Therefore, like I said before, the mind has limitless capacity to expand into new realms of thought, continuously exploring uncharted ideas and concepts without boundaries. The mind can ever expand. It can never be filled. It can never ever know everything. There is infinite fields of knowledge, infinite fields of thought. Your current state is just one stage on an infinite pathway. You won't remain human forever. The human experience is a crucial phase where we learn to balance polarities, master the fundamental laws of the cosmos. It is a period of growth and transformation, preparing us for the next stages in our cosmic evolution. The goal is to strive for perfection, yet the true perfection is unattainable. It's like a tunnel, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And as you walk through this tunnel, the light is ever moving backwards. You should forever seek to meet that light, but you will never meet that light because consciousness is ever expanding. You should strive for perfection, yet knowing that perfection is forever unattainable. The journey is endless, with each step revealing deeper layers of understanding and experience. The pursuit of growth and expansion is itself the essence of our evolution. You can find all of this knowledge in the amazing book that I have read for years. I have read this book, The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, by M. Dorial, translated by M. Dorial. I'm telling you now, this book, now that I've told you this, you have some context on the book. The whole book is about evolution of consciousness. He's talking about higher dimensions beings. He's talking about how you can transcend this physical plane. It is truly the most amazing book you will probably read. One of the best spiritual texts you'll see. It's hard to understand, so you must read it over and over again. And the more your mind progresses, like for me, I read this every couple months, and the more I learn about consciousness, the more I expand my own consciousness. And every time I read this book, I pick out something new that just completely blows my mind, because you can only understand this book to your level of consciousness, to your level of understanding. So now that I've told you all this information, go and read this book and it will absolutely blow your mind. And so will the Book of Wisdom Volume 2, which is now available. I released it the other day. I'm just going to read a page out now. This page is called Spirit and Matter. The Earth is not merely a dense, lifeless rock drifting through space. It possesses spirit, a living
cosmic, a living essence that animates its form. But what do we mean by spirit? Spirit in esoteric terms refers to the energy, the life force, animating the principles infused in matter. So essentially, what this page is talking about is how everything has spirit, consciousness within it. You are the middle, you are spirit and matter. You have the ability to expand your mind to the God self and raise above our animal instinct, our material self, and know the divine and expand. Animals cannot do this. Animals are not self-aware. Humans possess self-awareness. We can observe our consciousness. We can say, why do I exist? We can look in the mirror and know that we need growth. And this is what Anunnaki means. Anu means above. Anu was the supreme god of the sky, which is a metaphor. He represents spirit above, heaven. Anu came down to earth and married Ki, the goddess of the earth, which represents matter. It's a myth, it's an allegory. Anu married Ki and gave birth to the Anunnaki. Spirit came down and infused with matter and gave birth to the human, which is you. You are spirit infused in matter, Anu and Ki, Anunnaki. You are the Anunnaki. And this is just one of the teachings in my book. Honestly, this book is absolutely amazing. If you truly, truly want to expand your consciousness, give this book a read. And obviously, if you're inside the university, I give you this book for free. A paperback version. If you join the university, follow the steps inside of the general chat, you'll be able to download this book. Or, sorry, not download it. Order a paperback for free. All you have to do is pay for the shipping. You'll also gain amazing knowledge inside of my library, where your mind will just be overblown with the amount of esoteric books. There's over 45 rare occult books, plus you get a PDF of the Volume 1 and Human Health Guide. You get reoccurring updates where I expand on symbolism, occultism, where you will just feel absolutely amazing once you understand esotericism in yourself. You'll also learn how to create the dream reality that you want with the Manifestation Mastery course, where I teach you how your consciousness creates reality. You'll have a real lectures where I post lectures on symbolism, occultism, esotericism. There's a conscious community and live calls and Q&A where you can ask me questions and I'll answer your questions. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined the university. Thank you for even liking and watching this video. Any support I just appreciate every single one of you. Please, if you can, leave a comment and a like on this video and let me know any videos you want me to make in the future. And I will start uploading a lot more to the YouTube. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in today. Have an amazing day. What is good, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about the astral plane and how the cosmology fits into the astral plane. Okay, so first let's go over the astral plane and go over the different layers of reality so that you can understand reality more. You are a multi-dimensional being. You are not in these, you are in all of these realities at the same time. They all interweave into one big reality. But there are different planes. They are different vibrational dimensions. There are different dimensions of reality. The mind is the root cause of reality. We're living in the mind of God. Everything is being thought into existence from the root cause, from the universal mind. This is why the ancient Egyptians said, all is mind. We're living in the mind of God. And we are a microcosm of this mind. This is why we all have the same mind. The thought, imagine this chair, and you start to mentally see the chair. You're now manifesting the thought, the singular thought, into some sort of form. So now you're imagining the chair. You're imagining the form of this chair, which is then manifesting into the astral plane.
The astral plane is the thing you are seeing into that. It's an eye because it sees the astral plane. It is seeing the other side through imagination, through dreaming. Well, we'll go over dreaming later. So, the thought of a chair is a singular thought. The imagination of the chair is the manifestation of the chair. And in the astral plane, it's basically the world of all the chairs that could ever exist. So you're thinking of the chair as a singular thought, which is the mental plane. The astral plane is the imagination of that chair, is the thought, the manifestation of it. Depending on the vibrational state of the thought will depend what level of the astral plane it will go to. For example, if you're thinking about a chair to torture someone on it, it's going to go on the lower astral plane. Or if you're thinking and imagining happy things, it's going to go to the higher astral plane. So wherever your mindset is, that we call it a mindset because your mind is setting frequencies to certain things. Thoughts are frequencies. And a mindset is setting your frequency, setting your mind to a certain frequency. So when you set your mind to a certain frequency and you imagine something in that frequency, you're going to match everything in the astral plane that are on that similar frequency, just like you would in the physical world. Because we're all in these worlds right now as we speak, but we can't see them with the two physical eyes. We can feel it though. When you're around someone and you've just met a new person, for example, you can feel their vibration, and if you're not on a similar vibrational match, you will not get along with that person, or you just won't not get along, but you won't connect with that person because you're on two opposing frequencies, not matching. And this is something you can't see, you can only feel, because it's the astral plane. It exists within the astral plane. Everything in the astral plane is made out of vibrations. So if you do astral project, and if you already know how to astral project, you will see beings and people and things that are on the same frequency as you. This is why before you astral project, you need to sort your vibration out before you enter